Everyone, thank you for joining me here in the truck for a little lunchtime truck talk. Hope everybody is well. I was reading in Luke chapter 2. I just got so tickled over Jesus in Luke chapter 2, where he was 12 years old. And it says here, if we're going to start in Luke in chapter 2, let's say verse 45, you know the story. Jesus lingered behind the crowd after they was leaving Jerusalem. Um, he decided to linger back, but there was a reason for that. And this shows, at the age of 12, he knew exactly what his purpose was on this earth. So, starting in verse 45, chapter 2 says, "And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my father's business?" that's just tickled me there, because his mom and dad were like, "Hey man, where are you at? We were worried about you. We were sorrowful. We thought we lost you, and here you are." And Jesus says, "Don't you know I'm about my father's business?" Even at the age of 12. And it's interesting to me, how he got lost in the crowd, or supposedly they thought. Like, aren't you keeping an eye on your kid, right? I mean, a lot of us would keep an eye on our 12-year-old, say, "Hey, where's this little Jesus at? Make sure he's with us before we leave Jerusalem." So it tells me that they knew, and of course, at that time, he knew that he was the Messiah, that he always carried out his father's business. It sounds like this talk here, this conversation, that he's like, "Hey, aren't you not so surprised? I'm being about my father's business here." So you can see Jesus, even at 12 years old, he's asking. He's in the midst of the doctors. In verse 46, I love this. "And it came to pass that after 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions." So there he was developing as well as a human. This shows his human side here. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. It really hit me funny today. These verses, we've read them over and over, but Jesus knew. It says, "I must be about my father's business." It's just, that's amazing. And it goes on to say in verse 50 and 51, it says, "And they understood not the saying which he spake unto them. And he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was subject unto them. And his mother kept all these things in her heart. And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man." I think that's amazing. So maybe they didn't understand before. Maybe they didn't know who he was. Because it says here in 50, it says, "And they understood not the saying he spake unto them." Meaning, "How is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my father's business?" That is pretty profound for a 12-year-old to say, "I must be about my father's business." He knew he was um, the Savior. And of course, the story. Mary did as well. She had Jesus, the angel, visited her and said, "You want to carry the Messiah." So they knew who he was. But it's interesting, verse 50, see, "They understood not the saying which he spake unto them." Maybe they didn't understand the part that I must be about my father's business. What business, right? And anyway, I just wanted to share that with you today. I thought it was a funny. It just struck me different today. I could see him. You're losing your kid, and he's here sitting in the temple. He wasn't out. He didn't go out the beaten path, climb trees, and and get lost in the woods. He was back at the temple, learning, and giving wisdom, even at the age of 12. I must be about my father's business. And that's probably an approach that we should take. We should carry that same mindset. I must be about my Father's business, not to be saved, not to stay saved, but to advance the kingdom of heaven by and through the one true gospel of grace. How that Christ died, he was buried, and he rose again on that third day. Anyway, be blessed today. Merry Christmas. Love you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.